Okay, and welcome everyone to another group stage match. This is gonna be a match inside of the H group, the lowest group as far as I am aware. Yeah, we go from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? I think that's how the ABC goes. So anyways, it's gonna be a match from the H group. In between 4 Good Boys and, well, of course, our infamous gamers that, you know, really love to go crazy with their names. Thankfully, they were kind enough to provide a simpler name for the laser client that we're currently streaming. because the original name just straight up breaks it. So yeah, good work, guys. Good work. Anyways, should be an interesting match. These teams are quite close, you know, in seeding, so it'll be a close match. I think it's gonna be super interesting. I wonder if any of them is gonna pick Hidden Tomb, you know, trying to be funny or anything. But either way, let's get straight into it. I think the players are currently deciding the ban or pick order. See how things go. It's actually gonna be Team Red, I guess, with the first ban, and also it's gonna be the first pick. So that is the order of things. Team Red going for the DT1 right off the bat, which is an interesting ban. I think it's quite a nothing burger of a map, honestly. It shouldn't pose a threat to any of them. I think, you know, Hidden 2 is more risky to leave open, of course, if you aren't really familiar with it. Or maybe the Hidden one, you know. It's an interesting thing. Oh yeah, there you go. It actually, in the chat of the Laser Clan, you can see how the name kind of looks like. It's a little bit very fun name. Very funny, interesting question mark name. Well, crazy work. You know, maybe they won't win the tournament. Maybe they won't, you know, get the first place, but they have won our hearts with their creative names and, you know, for the love of the game. And actually, that's gonna be DT completely out of the pool by the looks of it. So no DT in this pool, which is interesting. So I think looking at those bans, it seems like both teams aren't really that comfortable on the DT maybe, so that's proving my point even further that this is going to be a very equal matchup, I think, in my opinion. So yeah, gonna be Teams Blue first pick. They're gonna be able to set the pace here, to set the tone of this match. See how we start things off. Actually, let me take a quick peek at their qualifier stats while we wait for that first pick. So, all good boys. Seed 22, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, looking at their stats, overall, pretty solid team. Doing well. Maybe the tapping and the DT, yeah, looks a little bit uncomfortable for them. But Hidden 2, a decent score. Nomad 1, decent score. And I think, yeah, the DT2 for them looked good. But the other DTs were a little bit uncomfortable. And for blue team in qualifier as well, DT1 was a good pick. So maybe that's what we based off our bans. I think both teams just looked at the qualifier stats and decided to go for him. And meanwhile, inside of the match, it's going to be Fremont 1, the very first pick. We actually didn't see this in the match 50 minutes ago. We didn't see any of the teams go for the Fremont 1. I personally think this is a very interesting map to see. It is, I think, more on the difficult side. I'm actually surprised. A lot of the teams have complained. What was I gonna say? I think it's one of the maps that is on the harder side. I'm surprised none of the teams complained about it being too hard. And thank you, new follower, instantly dropping the crazy name in chat. I'm sure we have a lot of supporters in chat here for Team Blue, as I can see. And I think very soon we're gonna get going right here. All the players settling into their slots. And getting ready for this lobby, and we're already getting started. Very fast start here, so let's get just right into it. No double mods, nothing crazy coming out any of the teams. So on Team Blow, Flamenco is gonna be playing Hard Rock, and Slow is gonna be playing the Hidden, and on Team Blue, ꗛᙡꗛᚶényoyer is gonna be playing Hidden and ꗛᙡꗛᙡ. Is that how to pronounce it? I'm so sorry if I mispronounce it. Is gonna be playing the Hard Rock. Usually on this map, I think you would really rely on the player that is playing Hidden to get, you know, the score in. I think it is a bit maybe easier on the Hidden than on the Hard Rock. On Hard Rock, these, you know, it's a little bit more space, and, you know, if you just really mess up the flowing, it could be really easy to just accidentally drop one of these notes here. But so far so good for all of the players, you know, holding through the start of the map. And, you know, it's the accuracy that is, I think, setting them apart. And I'm just realizing that ꗛᙡ꙯ényoyer is assessing at the moment, which is okay, very impressive. Actually, these hard rock players that I think are going to be struggling for the accuracy. Flamenco doing really good on the accuracy right now. And just as I mentioned, both hard rock players instantly miss on this like slowdown part. Yeah, this part especially, I think it's pretty difficult with hard rock. I personally have quite a bit of trouble hitting this part, especially where Flamenco missed. That like speed up slash it speeds up, it slows down those bursts, so it is really awkward to hit, especially with hard rock. But those are both of the harder players out of this equation, and I think it's gonna come down to them who is able to find their footing the soonest. Going into this last third of the map, which is absolutely demonic in my opinion. It really is different in pace. The patterns are gonna be more spaced, and there's gonna be more ulti here. So really just all eyes on the two hard rock players. If any of them are gonna find a miss here, but it's actually gonna be ꗛᙡ꙯ényoyer. The last FC for Team Blue is suddenly gone. Only gonna be enslow now left in the lobby with the FC, and I think with that FC and that advantage, they're just gonna throw this lead here. And I think they're gonna stick to this point as the song is slowly fizzling out, and we're slowly reaching the end. Never mind, there's a little bit more left to the song, but I think score-wise, the deal is done. There's no way back into this map for Team Blue, and a really unfortunate miss for ꗛᙡ꙯ényoyer. I mean, you could see he was practically assessing the map. Very unfortunate misses there to pick up there, so really unlucky. And it's gonna be enslow if I'm not wrong. I don't know if he actually found a miss at the end. Actually, no, he is gonna be the only S rank left in the lobby, all getting that 900k. You know, that is gonna be enough for his team to get the point. And yeah, as I said earlier, I think this free mode 1 is one of the harder maps in the pool. It's not that rare that you see players actually break quite a bit on this map compared to all of the other maps that are maybe a little bit easier. But yeah, that's gonna be a point for Team Red, actually a break point to start us off. So I don't know, maybe Team Blue just decided to experiment here with their first pick, and that experiment went terribly wrong, losing the first point here. So it's gonna be rough. And right after that, I think Team Red is going instantly into the Hard Rock one, as the that maybe on the Hard Rock, Team Blue has a little bit. We actually didn't see this map either in the previous match. It's gonna be the first time we actually see it today, so what can there be said about this Hard Rock one? It's actually gonna be pretty similar to the free mod one, maybe. So it's gonna be less of those paced bursts. It's actually gonna be like backed bursts. So really, it's gonna be that. And then after that, I think the map is just really simple. It shouldn't be that difficult. It's just gonna come down to that who's able to get a good accuracy on on this map. yeah, I think Team Blue has a very good chance here to just get this point right back after losing that first break. Have a good chance here. And actually, I think we're kind of changing the lineups on both teams. There's two new players on Team Red. It's going to be ꗛᙡꚛᚶ that is coming in. And Busta Rhymes as well coming in for Team Blue instead of ꗛᙡꚛᚶ. And on Team Red, ꗛᙡꚛᚶ instead of enslow, if I'm not wrong. So good luck in chat. We're gonna get right into this hard rock one. So yeah, it's gonna be a consistency map, I think, with hard rock, close to a nomad one. Same. It's gonna come in at 3 minutes, so maybe require a little bit more concentration from the players compared to all the other maps that is which are very close to 2 minutes. Actually, it's the drain time of the maps on this pool are very short. So far, all the players holding really well through this more awkward aim section. Of course, the aim patterns on this map aren't as simple as maybe you would see on Nomad 1. It shows a little bit of these more awkward patterns, but it doesn't seem to pose a threat to any of the players here now. As we're getting into the first KI section, I think is gonna come up soon here, very soon, and it's actually gonna be ꗛᙡꚛ and then Flamenco. Both players on Team Red just out of nowhere dropping their combo, and I guess that is kind of typical maybe of like a hard rock map. Is like super easy to just lose your combo if you just do a very small slip up, and it's gonna play right into the hands of Team Blue here, who had a rough start on that first map, but maybe they can recover from that on this hard rock one. But still, we're only getting into the second half of the map. Still a lot of things could happen. So, still a lot to play for here for Team Red. They're not completely out of this yet. Still a lot of chances. As we're slowly settling even more into the map. This was pretty much the slow section of the map, so there wasn't that much to say about it. It was just free combo for all the players. Free combo for Team Blue to build their lead even further, and a little bit of combo to build here to recover for Team Red. Of course, now we're gonna get into the last KI section, but it is kind of too late maybe for Team Red, as we're getting deep into the last quarter of the map. There's gonna be like one more difficult section. Actually, ꗛᙡꚛᚶ is gonna be the first one to miss on Team Blue, but it's gonna be traded by Flamenco. So now it's just Busta Rhymes against ꗛᙡꚛ, but I think damage is done. There is not enough of the map left, and as we're this last difficulty spike, ꗛᙡꚛ is gonna be the one to find another miss here. Now all eyes on Busta Rhymes. Is he gonna be able to finish this up with an FC? Is he gonna get it? And I think yes, there's just nothing much left of this map to pose a threat here for him, and that's gonna be the FC for him. And once again, we're starting with this match with 2 breakpoints, which is crazy work coming out of these players. The previous match as well was 3 breakpoints before we saw the teams actually win any of their picks. And yeah, I think this is just pretty much thanks to the lower SR. It really makes it hard to, pick a map and, be like so much more better than the other team here, especially like for 5 digits. This is, I think, way too easy for most of them. So, given the maps are so low SR, it is really hard to like fully express that skill set. So that might be the reason why we see so many breakpoints in this group stage. But it does definitely make for an interesting match to watch. with all these breakpoints. So let's see what Team Blue decides to do now. In back to settings here in the match. I mean, both teams trading breakpoints. We're very equal right now. And Team Blue gonna go for Nomad 2, which is very different from all the maps that we've played so far. So kind of hard to say who is gonna do good on this. Nomad 2 is gonna be your full flow aim map this time. Qualifiers, it was obviously more focusing on stamina and that higher BPM tapping. But this time in group stage is gonna be your flow aim map, so it'd be very easy on the aim. I think any player that has decent aim and not so good tapping could really just play this very decently. But yeah, this map has two longer streams, one in the middle of the map and one right at the end. And if you miss on that middle one, your score is done. It's gonna be permanently capped, I think, at like 600k if you miss in the middle. So if you miss on that one stream, then you're pretty much out of this map. It's really gonna be just who is gonna hold their combo throughout that stream. We've seen the top one team, we've seen one of the like lower seeded teams, like everyone. It's that section does not discriminate. It's really gonna be, I think, anyone's game. It's really anyone can break on that if you're not prepared properly. So it's time to see if Team Blue actually did prepare. Did they do their homework on this Nomad 2, and are they gonna hold throughout that middle stream? Other than that, it's just gonna be super simple flow aim streams. So that shouldn't pose that big of a threat. If you will struggle on those streams already at the start, then you're pretty much already out of this map, because this map is just gonna be only those base streams. And also this map in the map pool, it was one of the ones that got affected the most by the SR changes. It used to be 5.8 and now after the work it's 5.6, but don't let that fool you. I think it is still quite right for this SR. But the flow in, I think it's quite correct. And it's gonna be El Whopper? What? Whopper? Burger King Whopper? My bad if I have no clue how to pronounce this. I'm so sorry. He's gonna be the one who's gonna miss on that middle stream that I mentioned. And that is gonna be terrible for them. That is the one I said that is the one stream that you didn't want to miss on, and we've seen people miss the very last note of those streams, and now we've seen El Whopper miss on that entire last 5 notes of it. So that is gonna be a huge handicap on his score. They really need a huge mistake out of Team Red here to be able to come back here, but this section is gonna be pretty much a lot simpler. They need like a huge mistake coming out of Team Red, but both of the players are fully locked in. I mean, just look at their accuracies. There's no mistake here so far from them. And oh my god, just as I said, that Suboy is gonna find a miss, so I think it's too late though. It's pretty much done. Even if they miss on this last stream, as I said, that there's the other one that is like more difficult there, but it is way too late into the map, so that is just gonna be a point for Team Red. And boom, another breakpoint. 3 breakpoints in a row again, just as in the previous match. It's gonna be Flamenco and Busta Rhymes with the FCs on the Nomad 2. So yeah, a little bit another unlucky pick for Team Blue. So now it's gonna be once again Team Red in the best position here to to take the lead here. Maybe this is when we finally stop and stop giving breakpoints to the enemy team. Yeah, Team Red. So far they picked Hard Rock. It didn't really work out for them. These longer consistency maps, it seems to have they've been getting like edged out by Team Blue on these longer maps. I think going for something super short here could be the play. And actually they're gonna go for that hidden too. That one map. That one map that nobody expects in a tournament. Well, it is gonna be interesting to watch how the players do here. It is also on a shorter side of things, only coming in at 2 minutes, so maybe this is actually what Team Red needs, something short. And considering that they picked it, they probably feel quite comfortable on this. I think they've practiced it. This map only takes a little bit of practice if you're already well versed in the art of reading, so it shouldn't be that much of a challenge for your reading players. And even if you aren't a reading player, I can you really easily pick this map up, you know, just give it a couple tries, follow to the rhythm. It shouldn't be that difficult. But yeah, it is definitely a very unorthodox map in the pool. A lot of players have expressed their very valid thoughts about this pick. And yeah, I think it is very valid. But I think it's still should be fun, at least for us viewers, to see how they manage to hit these squares. So if you aren't familiar with this map also, why is Mr. playing Noma 2? My banjo is probably not having too much fun. But yeah, if you aren't familiar with the map, it's just gonna be this throughout the entire map, these squares and following along to the rhythm. It's actually gonna be ꗛὤ괛 finding the very first break here. A little bit mishearing the rhythm. Aiming wise, it should be very simple this map, but he's just misreading this, and maybe he just is also just mistapping it on these back and forth jumps. He is looks like he's struggling a bit. Yeah, he's gonna be the only one so far that is gonna be struggling on this one. Everyone else is holding. There's gonna be a break coming up from ꞛBoy, so Team Blue is not completely out if somehow Colgate Enjoyer manages to hold and then Enslow finds a miss. ꞛBoy finally breaking as well. So he seems to be also struggling a bit here on this. But ꞛὤ괛 really behind, still not reaching that 100k. Meanwhile, ꞛBoy has already reached 300k even with a couple of misses. And yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty much done. Team Red just... Well, it makes sense why they picked this. They just seem way more comfortable with this, as both of the Team Red players are actually gonna find a break here. I don't think it's... Is it enough though? Wait, it could be. I'm not entirely sure though. If Colgate Enjoyer manages to hold throughout here, it is just gonna be this though. I think there isn't enough time. I think it's done. It's gonna be super close though. And after having a lead of 300k, at the end is just gonna come down to a 40k difference. That is a huge difference. But yeah, just the team score wasn't the team support wasn't there, unfortunately. But what a score from Colgate Enjoyer. I think that is the first first FC on this map so far, at least on the matches that have been streamed that I've seen. So yeah, a very good score from Colgate Enjoyer. So, following a trend I see, just like in the previous match, it was 3 breakpoints until we had until the 4th map was actually finally won by the team that picked it. And then we're actually gonna go into the ꝏᵣ. This one is also an interesting one. I think it could also go either way. And yeah. Yeah, I think this ꝏᵛ is kind of an interesting map as maps go. I think it has it represents the slot quite well, I have to be honest. You're gonna have your snap alt, you're gonna have your more flowy alt in this, and of course maybe a little bit of a reading again with some of these like perfect stacks, doubles that go back and forth. So yeah, but I think this is also a map that where a lot of players, even on the higher seeded teams, managed to find breaks. So I'm gonna expect a couple of breaks in here as well. If I see an FC, I'm gonna be impressed. If you see these triples where it goes back and forth, these are the ones more reading parts that are gonna maybe trip up some players, and it's actually gonna be Colgate Enjoyer being the very first one to fall here. And difficulty-wise, I feel the map is also pretty consistent. Of course, it is going to pick up a bit of difficulty in the KI sections. But this section shouldn't pose that much of a threat to the players. And literally, as I am saying that, ꝏᵛ and Colgate Enjoyer trading misses there. Now it just comes down to Buster Rhymes and ꝏᵛ. Of course, ꝏᵛ has a better score to support his teammate with there. Colgate Enjoyer lacking a bit behind, but he hitting these patterns now. Maybe he's gonna recover quite nicely here, but slowly we're gonna get into the more difficult parts. And these slower, more reading parts are, I can't say they're reading parts, but maybe it's just the BPM and just the tapping is just not there. These are the parts that seem to be catching up Colgate Enjoyer time and time again, and he's gonna miss again. ꝏᵛ recovering now really nicely, and Buster Rhymes also dropping another miss. I think that's gonna be the end for Team Blue here on this ꝏᵛ as we get into this last KI section. And so far ꝏᵛ is the only person on track for an FC here. Let's see if he manages to hold through this last difficult section here. Also a very beautiful recovery from ꝏᵛ here. Actually, he has the 99.40% accuracy. ꝏᵛ is gonna pick up a miss right here at the end, so very unfortunate. And that is gonna be a break point again for Team Red. Well, this is quite a bad position to be in if you are Team Blue. This is definitely not what you want to see. You are looking at a big gap of 3 points, and also now it's Team Red's turn to also pick a map here. So definitely they are facing a very tall and huge wall right now. This is gonna be a big challenge to come back into the game, but of course, well, Team Red kinda running out of their picks. I mean, of course, there's still plenty of maps to pick from, but you know, maybe they're exhausted. They're better picks, so definitely could be a chance for Team Blue to get that break point. But it is looking pretty dreadful for Team Blue right now. They tried 2 maps and unfortunately those 2 maps haven't worked out quite well for them. So now the question is, what is Team Red gonna go for? And they're actually gonna go for the last, like, more gimmicky map of the map. They're gonna go for Nomad 4. And I mean, I guess it is fair, they showed real good consistency on that Nomad 3. Especially Flamenco, like, he might have been the one to miss earlier, but his accuracy was definitely on top, in top shape with that 99.4%. So I'm gonna expect the same lineup here for Team Red actually. I would be surprised to not see ꗛᙡꚛ and Flamenco on this. And let's decide if Team Blue is actually gonna decide to change their lineup and try something new now. It's actually gonna be ꗛᙡꚛ and ꗛᙡꚛ here, trying things out. I think that is completely new lineup for them. They are gonna be the last line of defense here for Team Blue, the last ones to make a difference. This is the last chance. If they do not get the point here, it is gonna be over for Team Blue in this match. It's not gonna be over in group stage. There's still plenty of matches to play, of course. It is going to be the lower division groups, so the last team is going to get eliminated, so you want to get all the points that you can get. Of course, we're getting some good introductions into Nomad 4 right now. That was like a good taster of what is to come, and now things are picking up for these more awkward sliders. I'm gonna make sure to not drop the ends of it. And so far so good for Team Blue on their own pick. Get into the more happy sections of that. For Nomad 4, this map is actually pretty... It has a little bit of like tapping as far as Nomad 4s go, so you know, you have to consider that as well. To have that, I guess, a little bit of finger control, you could say it. Of course, it's not that difficult on tapping, it's just these bursts. But make sure you don't slip up and miss any of these slider ends, so that is gonna be the biggest killer on this map. So far so good for all the players, everyone is holding. It's just Team Red is slightly edging out Team Blue on their accuracy. And it's gonna be ꗛᙡꚛ actually finding the very first miss there, actually another miss. As we get into this last TI section here, like right before it finding that miss, is gonna be very unfortunate, but it's gonna give a chance for Team Blue to come back here as Flamenco finds a miss, instantly traded by ꗛᙡꚛ here. So now it's only ꗛᙡ, who was the person who was doing so good on that Nomad 3 before, if I'm not wrong. But they did chase spots here, so my visual memory is challenged here. But he is still holding here towards the end. I think that is gonna be it here. He is gonna secure this point for his team, as there's not much resistance from the Team Blue here. Both of the players missing these ones, only getting this 500k and that 600k and 900k from Team Red is just so tall and mighty, you can say. So that is just gonna get them the point. And that is going to be GG, well played for all the players involved. It is going to be the win for Team Red at the end of the day, who are going to secure a win here and also quite a lot of points here and point difference. That is also like really, really good, because if you've seen all the previous matches, all of the matches have been super close. So, you know, that point difference might come in handy later. So yeah. But yeah, GG's, well played to all the players involved. Of course, this is not the last time you're gonna see them. They still have at least 3 or 2 other matches to play in group stage. So, you know, if you're a fan of, you know, the team with the very, very interesting name, then it's not the last time you're gonna see them. So yeah. Well, I think there's nothing much more to say. Thanks everyone for watching. I think unfortunately though, this is gonna be maybe the last stream for the day, as I'm gonna have to sub in as a ref for the other games. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stream anymore today, but that's it.